Let's pause for a moment to honor the passing of these two great endeavors. Thank you. If you would please remain standing, gentlemen, remove your caps as we honor America and the men and women around the world who protect our freedom. As Lebanon High Jr. Kate Leggett brings us our national anthem.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. Still there, oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the
This game is being played according to the rules of the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association. These rules provide for fair competition among players. Spectators can help promote good sportsmanship by observing the rules of fair play. Each one is requested to take personal responsibility for keeping this game at a high level of sportsmanship.
For the first time in 2026, we welcome you into the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. We kick off our Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend with a matchup at Lebanon High School as the Blue Devils host the Nolensville Knights. Welcome in, everybody, alongside the former Vanderbilt Commodore Bruno Reagan. I'm Lucas Panzica. The wait is over. The road to the Blue Cross Bowl starts here, Bruno, between two programs and two communities that love their high school football.
And usually on week one, I feel a sense of ominous. You know, there's kind of that waiting for the football season. What's going to happen? But the teams came out here. They warmed up shop. The weather is great. Looking for a good night of football.
So let's get to our Greenway Kia keys to the game. There is a big thing happening at one of Greenway Kia's three big locations. Follow Greenway Kia next. Nolensville. They bring back a ton from last season, so they want to lean on their strengths, and that's the run game.
Absolutely. Establishing the run game is the single best thing you can do in week one. It prevents turnovers by keeping the ball on the ground, keeping it to your most experienced, best players, getting behind your big bodies of the offensive line. They're going to look to establish that physical game here.
Meanwhile, Lebanon knows they've got to contain the quarterback run game of Nolensville because it really gashed them in this matchup a year ago.
And the quarterback run game tests three levels of defense. The change of direction on the first level, the eyes on the second level, the pass to run defense on the third. It's dynamic. They're going to have to answer.
Well, let's talk about that quarterback run game with our key players. Nolensville senior quarterback Ryan Newell. He's actually a Bowling Green baseball commit, but this guy is a heck of an athlete. He can hurt you in the air and on the ground.
They're going to lean on him tonight. They're going to try and go, and not only is his run game, you know, one side, it's dynamic. He's going to go attack off the tackles. He's going to go up the middle, so it's going to be a big challenge for them tonight.
Meanwhile, Lebanon, we know wants to run the football, but they also want to open up the passing game to get the ball to number 7, Gavin Gregory, who earlier today committed to Arkansas State.
Congratulations to the young man. Gavin Gregory is coming off the season with 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, as offers from all over the country. Tennessee is sending off a good one to Arkansas State.
There is one big injury to note for Lebanon, so we'll bring in the third member of our team, Sammy Kincaid, before kickoff.
Hey guys, we'll get to that Lebanon injury in just a minute, but first let's start out on the Nolensville side for the Bart Durham injury report. Out tonight will be Levi Nothouse. He is out with a foot injury. He's a wide receiver, DB for Nolensville. And then flipping over to the Lebanon side, out tonight will be offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Caden Goodlow. He has a dislocated knee and is out till week 3, as well as Gian Ezita. He's out with a hamstring injury tonight. Could possibly see him a little bit in action tonight, but for the most part, coach does not think he's going to be good to go. That's your Bart Durham injury report. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have kickoff, a whole lot more for you. So stick with us. We'll be right back right here on MyTV 30.
Referee, we also have Staff Sergeant Mitchell with us tonight, honorary captain. All right, captains, take care of your business. It means something to us that you're a captain. It means something to you. Should mean something. Fair? Fair? All right. Got any problems throughout the game? Come talk to us. We'll talk back. We'll handle it. You understand that? Nolensville, we're going to refer to you as the white uniform team. You will be the visitor on the board, okay? And then we'll refer to you as the blue uniform team. You'll be the home team. I got $1 piece, heads, tails. Heads, tails. I'm going to let you call it before I talk. Heads or tails? Tails. If I drop it, we're going to redo it. You call tails, correct? Yes, sir. It is tails. It's your option. You go offense, defense, or you can move your option to the second half. You want to defer. You want to defer. Nolensville has won the toss. They've elected to defer their option to the second half.
beautiful sight to see after a long, hot summer. It is week one of the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals presented by UA Local 572 as we welcome you into Danny Watkins Stadium, Lebanon High School, where the Blue Devils out of 6A host the 5A Nolensville Knights as we begin our Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend. A fun matchup in store for you, but before kickoff, let's send it down to the field with referee Bobby Rollins and the Tennessee Army National Guard coin toss. Bobby Rollins with the coin toss. It is the visiting Nolensville Knights who take it. They defer to the second half. So Lebanon will get the football to start things off. And it is always quite an entrance for the Blue Devils here at Danny Watkins Stadium. Man, does this community love their high school football. Lucas Pantica, Bruno Reagan with you in the booth. Sammy Kincaid downstairs. And we are excited to get it rolling in a matchup where Nolensville are the ones coming in, Bruno, looking for some revenge.
Absolutely. Nolensville coming in. We are on the road week one. Week one, you know, me and Lucas were talking before the game right here. What's the over-under on cramps, right? Because the physical aspect of football is going to come into play here tonight. I expect around the second quarter you'll see the fatigue set in. The third and fourth, that's where the run games are going to start to, I call it the softening process, really open up potential pass opportunities and big play explosions. There
you see number 7 for Lebanon. Our player to watch, Gavin Gregory, announced his commitment to play for Butch Jones and Arkansas State in 2027 and beyond. But he's got a senior season to be played first. And this is a Lebanon team, Bruno, that replaced a lot from last year. They're likely to be without their star running back, John Azita, for the majority of this game. It's a major doubt that he plays. Meanwhile, Nolensville brings back a ton from last year's team that lost to this Lebanon squad by 5 in week one.
Absolutely. You're going to look for a lot of these Lebanon Blue Devils here to step up. Really, both teams. And I'll tell you what, especially week one, special teams can be the difference, right? That's where the big play and momentum. Football is a game of momentum, so whoever strikes first typically gets rolling.
Well, Lebanon head coach Chuck Gentry loves to talk about special teams, especially in week one. He says it's always a wild card at the start of the season, so let's see if that has any effect. And only the second ever meeting between these two. An 83, mostly sunny day, which lately in Middle Tennessee feels like quite a relief with what we've been dealing with. Matthew Serpis, the senior kicker, is going to tee it up. Gavin Gregory back deep, trying to utilize that speed on the opening kickoff. All of those months, spring practice into summer workouts and fall camp, lead up to this moment for teams across the state and country. And we are so pumped to bring it to you. The first of a triple header to open up the weekend. We've got matchups for you tomorrow and Saturday on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals presented by UA Local 572. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Whether you're watching on MyTV30, whether you're streaming us live on the MyTV30 website or on Fox 17 Nashville's YouTube page, thrilled to have you along for the ride as we kick off the 2026 season. Kickoff is presented by Wilson Bank and Trust. Kick off your next financial goal with Wilson Bank and Trust. From everyday banking to life's biggest milestones, Wilson Bank and Trust is here to get you there. Member FDIC. Matthew Serpis gets us underway, kicking it into the end zone and almost out the back of it for a touchback. And that will give Lebanon the football on the 20-yard line. And we get a chance to see this junior transfer quarterback, number 9, Nate Dye, the lefty that came in from Gallatin in the offseason. But he got here in the spring, Bruno, which made a world of difference in getting acclimated with his teammates.
Absolutely. Also entering his junior year, becoming an upperclassman, looking to set that leadership, that example, and also has time to settle into a system. But in week one, everyone's just so eager to get out and hit somebody that's not your own team, okay? You got to come out, you know, apply the pressure, but also settle in. Be assignment sound, not do too much, do your job.
Nate Dye, who backed up Colton Overby at Gallatin High School last year, but he has brought his gunslinger mentality into Lebanon High School and is going to get a chance to lead his new offense for the opening drive of the season. Slight hold up here, maybe a clock issue to start things off. Got to have it, right? Week one. It's one of those things, cramps in the first half, clock issues out of the gate. It's part of the magic of high school ball.
Yeah, we're getting a runoff right now on the gameplay clock, setting from 12 on down.
Bobby Rollins, our white hat tonight. He will be marshaling the proceedings.
Controlling the chaos, so to speak.
Well, this is a town that brings the energy with its high school football. They don't have the end zones checkerboard. That is strictly reserved for playoff action here at Lebanon High. Always fun to be out here. We got a chance to come out here for the playoffs last year. Unfortunately for the Blue Devils, it was a playoff loss to Riverdale. Their season ended in that game after an 8-3 campaign. It was a first-round loss to the Warriors. There you see Nolensville head coach Scott Stidham in his second season leading the Knights. A very young program, relative certainly to Lebanon. Scott Stidham, the former coach at Independence, also led the Knights to the playoffs last year, an 8-4 campaign that ended in the second round at the 5A level. We're ready to get underway. Nate Dye going to start things off in the gun. Matthew Clark is the running back starting things off in place of the injured Gianna Zita. And it is Clark who gets the give and is dragged down immediately. Jake Sentel, we may be calling his name a lot tonight. 6 sacks, led the team last year, and he is a constant threat off the edge.
The senior at 6'2", 250, going to be coming off the edge.
Let's get to the offensive starters presented by Sonic for Lebanon. Again, no Gianna Zita. A big miss for the 1,300-yard rusher to not be available. But Gavin Gregory certainly brings a spark at wide receiver. Deontay Wilson, number 3, a major star on defense that they may have to lean on in the run game here tonight with the absence of Azita. It was no gain. Check that, a loss of 1. To open things up, 2nd and 11, and flags early as the play clock was running down. More procedural issues to start things off.
Right to the snap. Delay on the offense. 5 yards. Replay.
Not an ideal start to this offensive series, especially when it's your first series. We take a look.
It is Chuck Gentry, the head coach of the Lebanon Blue Devils. 10th season here at Lebanon, and what a successful stint he has had with a couple of the best seasons in modern Lebanon history. Going right back to the ground game with a head of steam. Matthew Clark has nowhere to go. William Tomlinson led the charge on the stop, and he's unable to get back to the original line of scrimmage after the delay of game. It brings up a 3rd and long. 14 to go for Lebanon to move the chains on this opening series.
A pair of senior defensive ends applying 2 negative plays to this Lebanon offense for Nolensville.
So this Nolensville defense getting off to a nice start, trying to finish it off with a 3rd and 13. Dye will have to put it in the air for the first time as a Blue Devil, airing it out deep and incomplete. The best shot at it was for free safety Caden Woodard, and it's a 3-and-out to kick things off for Lebanon. Let's take a look at the Nolensville defense presented by Sonic. We mentioned Jake Sentel there at defensive end. They really brought back the spine of this defense with Cole Cresium at linebacker, leading tackler from last season, and a couple of key defensive backs in Cade Mora and Tristan Lefmexe. A lot of upperclassmen on the defensive side of the ball for Nolensville. As the punt is away from Eli Jimenez, and letting it bounce is Cade Mora. It'll roll into Nolensville territory, and down at the 43, that is where the Knights will have their opening drive on offense of 2026.
Can't ask for a better start, this Nolensville football club right here. They get a delay of game, they get 2 negative plays, an incompletion forcing a 3rd and long, and now they only have 50 and some change to cross to be the first ones on the board tonight.
So here's Ryan Newell, going to be playing baseball at Bowling Green State next year, but don't let it fool you. This dude is a heck of a football player. 1,500 yards in the air, 750 on the ground, 28 total touchdowns a year ago. And it's the quarterback run game being called upon straight out of the gates, but Lebanon ready for it. We talked about it in pregame. The key to the game for Lebanon is containing the quarterback run. They do it there with the Earl Legs shooting down from his linebacker spot. Here's the Nolensville offense. Newell, the quarterback. Tristan Lemexe returns, an 1,100-yard running back. The toughest thing for Nolensville this season is replacing wideout Oliver Better, who's now playing college football at Washington State, set to open up his college career in about a week. It will be a by-committee approach with a group of unproven young talents to fill out that wide receiver spot. Throwing on the run to the left side. Newell completes to the diving man, Caleb Shin, coming back for the ball. Nice gainer for the first down of the season for the Knights. Here's the Lebanon defense, the Earl Legs. Somebody that had his season cut short only 4 games in last year, but Chuck Gentry is really excited about what he's going to bring to this group. Jaden Stafford as well, number 28, a 3-year starter there on the defensive line. Nolensville after the 11-yard pickup to get into Lebanon territory. Newell gives straight up the middle. That's the first touch of the season for Tristan Lemexe. And he meets Legs after a short gain. Pickup of 2.
Take a look at Coach Gentry.
60 and 40 in his time here at Lebanon. Led this squad to another region title last season as Newell quickly jets up the middle. Maybe a broken play with the flag down in the backfield.
Seeing a lot of the week 1 hiccups right now. A lot of free rushers. The linebackers making a lot of play the second level untouched. Procedural.
So what else is on the bingo card? As we're about to hear from Bobby Rollins.
Looks like he's signaling illegal procedure on the offense, and they will be backing up before we get the official call.
2 meaning in the backfield. Against the offense. Play first down.
You're talking about bingo right here. How about nose tackle hitting the jump over the football? They call procedure.
Second down. Replay second down.
Second down and 13 for Nolensville. So we've had the clock issues, we've had the delay of game, we've had the procedural penalty on offense. We're filling out that week 1 bingo card here on MyTV 30. Newell pump fakes on the run. He'll reverse field, and he's got plenty of green grass. Ryan Newell scoots out of bounds. And a late flag comes in. They may tack on 15 more for the late hit. And that dual threat ability is already in the spotlight for the Bowling Green baseball pledge.
And Newell really draws that flag using his good change of direction, right? He starts hitting his hole with a certain stride. That way he's ready to meet contact. But when he sees that open grass, he changes it a different gear. So by the time they can make contact, he's already at the sideline and draws an extra 15.
You know, and his head coach, Scott Stidham, isn't shy about it. He said, this guy's an athlete playing quarterback. Not so much a quarterback that's an athlete, but they lean into it with that dual threat ability.
After the play, we have a late hit out of bounds on the defense. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Everyone wants to flatter all the time, you know, this guy's this or that. Well, sometimes he's exactly who he is. He's an athlete playing quarterback, and we're going to lean on that. We're going to identify those strengths. And we'll take a look again here at that late hit, and that is a late hit in every level of football. Carter McPeak drawing it.
3-year starter on this defense. A response from Legs, who chops down Newell. The Earl Legs already making plays in this game. Chuck Gentry said he's going to surprise everybody this season. Broke his collarbone 4 games into last year after a phenomenal start to the year. Also a Gallatin transfer on this Lebanon squad, but had an incredible start to his season against this Nolensville team last year with a great performance, was flying all over the field. So the Knights certainly will be accustomed to seeing him, even if most of Lebanon's opponents won't be. Toss sweep left side to Lemexe, and a flag comes in.
Typically when you hit those wide outside sweeps, that's where the receivers get to block, and then you're blocking, and then it's different from attempting to block in practice, and then now where you actually have to hold against a full speed defender. That's where the holdings happen, where they forget to run their feet.
During the play, holding on the offensive parade. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Already the 5th penalty in this first quarter combined.
You can see a little bit of the edge of the jersey pulling. Got to run that feet, got to drive.
So that makes it a 2nd and 20 for Nolensville. Newell goes deep, looking for that left side. It's tipped. It is caught. A rolling catch and a touchdown for the Knights. How's that for a first career touchdown catch for Turner Boswell? The tip drill produces the South College touchdown, and Nolensville's on the board.
You want to talk about bingo? There's the juggle between two defensive players. The two defensive players hitting each other, and the ball flying straight into the offensive player. We can see right there 2 Lebanon defenders, Gavin Gregory, and Deontay Wilson, creating collision and then falling right into it for his first career touchdown.
And that is a clean catch as well. No contact to the grass here at Lebanon. The extra point tacked on by Serpis, and Nolensville leads on the road by a touchdown here in week 1 as we kick off the 2026 season on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572 on MyTV 30. Always a special moment before kickoff of a high school football game, but especially to kick off that first matchup of the season. Our Bart Durham injury law anthem moment. First one of 2026. Glad to have you with us. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan in the booth, Sammy Kincaid down on the field, and Nolensville off to a roaring start on the road. Ryan Newell connecting with Turner Boswell on the tip drill touchdown catch. 29 yards, and Lebanon will look to put together a response here. Serpis boots it into the end zone again. Man, you can tell Gregory wants to field one of those on the Wilson Bank and Trust kickoff. Committed to Arkansas State earlier today, and you wonder if Lebanon's going to look to get the ball in his hands here on this drive.
You want to establish the run game, but after procedures and then giving up 2 negative plays, it's going to be interesting to see as we take a look at our scoring drive. 6 plays, 57 yards, capped off by that 29-yard pass to Boswell, who had the tip drill. He did a great job of attacking the football even after it looked lost.
Matthew Clark, the sophomore, is the running back. Dye hands to Clark. Some space on the left side, and the physicality from Clark finishes the run across the 25-yard line. So a positive play on first down. Clark ends up picking up 8. They spot it for actually a 9-yard gain to bring up second and a long 1.
Clark did such a good job on that gap scheme of showing his eyes and shoulders inside and then hitting the cut, letting his blockers develop.
They'll feed him again. Matthew Clark just shot out of a cannon out of the backfield, and that does move the chains. Well, like we've talked about, Lebanon without Gian Azita, a 1,300-yard rusher with 17 touchdowns last year, such a big part of their identity. He's been day-to-day with a hamstring throughout fall camp. All-state player last year. Likely not going to go tonight. So guys like Matthew Clark are going to have to step up when called upon tonight. They'll screen it out. This is Manier. Finds some space and bumped out around the 40-yard line. Better ball movement from Lebanon on the second drive.
Good job by Manier, not waiting, getting his foot in the ground and getting vertical, allowing himself and his offense to get ahead of the chains. Good job by the blocking outside edge to also give him just enough space, run feet through contact.
Manier, a standout on defense for the Blue Devils last year, but really calling his number on the offensive side of the ball here in 2026. Clark tussled down by Centel.
Massive bodies converging. Looks like a run for a gain of 1. Actually no gain. That'll set up a 3rd and 6. Still in liberty to run the football.
Big early 3rd down for Lebanon. Chance to keep this drive alive and not give Nolensville more of that early momentum. Clark around the edge at the 45, turns up midfield. First down run, Matthew Clark. That's a pickup of 15, and you wonder if Lebanon is finding themselves a nice young player in Clark out of the backfield.
Clark's running angry. If he can keep this up, he's going to apply a softening process. The drive is starting to get a little bit longer. You notice how on a 3rd and 6, but since they've applied 6 to 7, plays in a row, it's starting to create it's starting to create a lot of fatigue on the Nolensville defense, and that's going to spring up those open runs. Even though it's a 3rd and 6, it still opens up the run game now that it's a prolonged series.
I think we're done with it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everybody.
1st and 10. First snap of the game inside Nolensville territory. The trickery to get Manier into space, and it's a first down. So the Blue Devils picking up steam down to the 35.
Both a lot of joy and frustration on the success of this drive. You can see a lot of the second-level blocking of the Lebanon Blue Devils. They're staying square right there up onto the second level, allowing their skill players to meet secondary players. I just worry for Lebanon now that they've crossed the field. This is the point of the game. You don't want to do too much. You have great field position. You're controlling momentum. Stick to what's working.
It's been back-to-back first down runs for the Blue Devils. Ball's on the ground. Nolensville saying they have it. Waiting for the ruling, and they do. A fumble ends the drive, and the Knights will take over near their own 40.
I'm not going to say sorry for that one. I was worried when I saw the momentum picking up, and you just wonder all these week one things going through procedure right here, and looks like it's just that zone read, and there's just a miss. It just takes so many snaps to get that feel of how you're going to pull, where the hands are set, the quarterback read, and right there the ball just sort of drops without any control, and Nolensville hops on it. Jake Sentel, the senior defensive lineman, gets the first turnover of the night.
And he is making his presence felt in this first quarter. So the Nolensville offense will take the field after marching 6 plays and 57 yards the last time out to score the opening touchdown. Ryan Newell on play action. Flushed and weaving to the 45. Newell going to be called down after a gain of 8, but just the kind of guy that the first wave of pressure is rarely going to get him down.
This is what we were talking about in our opener, Lucas, where he's attacking the edge because it was designed. He rolls out of the pocket, then he cuts inside, actually turns outside, sets the defenders on a different pursuit angle, and then just cuts up the middle. He's not trying to hit a home run. He's trying to be effective in his net positive gaining, and it's working.
Second and 3. Lithmexe is popped in the backfield. That is Connor Burchett from his safety spot. Said no, sir, to back up the Knights. Almost to the, forward progress will mark him down at the 44, but it brings up third down.
Take a look at number 44. He just sort of blitzes into the makes contact right at the handoff. That's exactly how you attack a sort of handoff or a read. You attack the point of handoff. You don't just sit there and wait or allow them to make their moves. You disrupt it.
Third and 5. Newell. Deep throw, coming back for it. Ball pops out at the end. Incomplete. That was Boswell looking to make another acrobatic play. And that will send the Nolensville punting unit onto the field for the first time.
Newell's got to be very careful hitting those throws on the run where he can't set his feet. It's one thing to throw on the run to an open receiver, but in those contested ones, when you can't set your feet, there's something about the mindset of an athlete where it's like, I'm going to make that throw, but you just have to follow in with the technique, or else you're going to give away all this momentum that you've earned.
Serpis on to punt it away with Gregory and Manier back deep. No return. And Lebanon's defense comes up with the stop. So it remains a 7-0 ball game, and Lebanon is back in possession at home in week 1 of the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572.
Welcome to Lebanon High School, where Nolensville leads right now 7-0. And I'm joined by Staff Sergeant Stephen Mitchell. And thank you so much, first, for your service, and thank you so much for joining me here tonight. And first off, can you tell me how the Tennessee Army National Guard is different from other military branches?
Absolutely. So what sets us apart is a couple different things. One, I think, is the biggest, is the fact that you get to serve here where you live. You don't have to go abroad. get to stay close to family, friends, and possibly just do whatever we want here.
And everyone talks about the benefits of being in the Tennessee Army National Guard. Tell me some that are specific to Tang.
For the Tennessee Army National Guard, we have this thing called the Tennessee Strong Act. What it does is cover 100% of college tuition and fees to the majority of the schools, state schools here in Tennessee.
And how is some of the jobs that you can have in the Tennessee Army National Guard? What are some of the jobs that somebody can have?
Absolutely. So one of probably the biggest ones is 15 Tango. It's a crew chief, or you get to go work on and fly in Blackhawks. Then you got like 68 Whiskey. It's a medic, so if you're trying to go in the medical field, it's a great door opener. And then military police. That's one of our biggest things here in the state of Tennessee, followed by 11 Bravo Infantry.
Thank you so much again for your service, and thank you for joining me here tonight, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Staff Sergeant Mitchell. Lebanon retakes the field on offense as the defense stepped up, and that felt like a big stop, Bruno. 14-0 for a young Lebanon team that replaced a lot last year. Would be a tough hole to dig out of at home. Now they get the chance to put points on the board.
Coming off of a tough turnover after they crossed midfield. A pair of explosive plays, but starting to find a little bit of rhythm in their run game.
Die. Clark tripped up. So it has been a heavy dose of Matthew Clark tonight. That's his 8th carry, 29 yards. You wondered if it would be more of a by committee approach. Deontay Wilson, a player that can tote the rock, the senior who plays a big role in the middle of that Lebanon defense. Tyler Oth, the sophomore, that they can move around in the backfield. But Chuck Gentry saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If you're going to rely on a run game, you want to look for run efficiency, which is 4 yards average on a carry. Right now, Lebanon is a good bit below that. They have to start hitting a little bit more consistently.
And that time, Clark gets hit by Destin Lawrence right up the middle. First time we've said his name, and Scott Stidham told us last week, you know, Destin Lawrence, only a sophomore, and has a chance to be pretty good. And then you look down at the measurables, a sophomore at 6'4", 285. I'd agree with that.
6'4". That's some big boy size right there in the middle. Able to make an athletic play and keep the efficiency for Lebanon down, forcing in a 3rd and long. This is where the playbook starts to really collapse on top of you. There's only typically offensive coordinators, especially week one, carry a handful, maybe 3 plays that you can go on a 7 or 8 yard deficit.
And they'll keep it on the ground with Clark. Trying to catch Nolensville off guard. He trucks a man at the end of the run. Does not have enough for the first down, but that sends a ripple through the Lebanon sideline.
I just got chills down my spine. Watch Clark right here. When he sees that there's no other way but to make contact, he lowers the shoulder and comes out like a cannon. It's actually very impressive that Nolensville is able to hold them and not let him fall forward for the first down. They're forcing a 4th and short. See what the Blue Devils do. It looks like they're sending out their punt unit.
That was senior Cade Mora on the receiving end. So Jimenez will boot it away. They will get this punt off before the first quarter clock comes to an end. It is Mora who just took that hit, signaling for the fair catch, and we'll get maybe 1 or 2 more plays in to close out the first quarter. Nolensville brings the offense back out. I mean, that'll get you fired up if you're an offensive lineman blocking for the young fella.
Absolutely. It gets me fired up on defense. It gets me fired up all the way around. That's a hard-hitting pad football. I'm somewhat of a veteran of what we used to call the take-it-to-the-face crew. I used to be on field goal where Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, they would line up 3 people in front of me, and I had to block them. So I'm all too familiar with falling with grace.
That's the former Vanderbilt Commodore, Bruno Reagan. I'm Lucas Panzica. Here's a run up the middle from Lithmexe, and it brings us to the end of the first quarter. Nolensville leads by a touchdown in the first of our Friday Night Rivals triple header kickoff weekend on MyTV 30. And when we come back, we'll have the beginning of the second quarter at Lebanon High School, where the Knights are looking to add to their lead on the other side.
Lebanon High volleyball opened the season earlier this week with a convincing 3-1 road win at Green Hill. The Lady Devils will play host to Mount Juliet on Monday, August 23rd at 6:30. Find out how you can live, work, and serve in your community with the Army National Guard. Visit nationalguard.com.
Tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Rivals can also be seen streaming live on mytv30web.com, Fox 17 Facebook Live, and YouTube. Brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction.
Welcome back out to Danny Watkins Stadium, quarter number 2 of game number 1 in this 2026 season on MyTV30. The Nolensville Knights will switch sides, now going right to left, trying to tack on to this one-score lead on the road. Ryan Newell, the senior quarterback, nothing up the middle. He can bounce it, and he's got the first down out of bounds near midfield. No flag on this one. There was a late hit penalty on the opening drive for Nolensville, but man, is this guy hard to catch.
I'm watching this play, and I'm like, oh, you don't want to go backwards at all, but talk about athlete playing quarterback. It's like you can't coach things like that. He hits the edge, and I think they get away with a little bit of a late hit there, a little bit of a physical football game, but regardless, Nolensville moves the chains, and they're threatening midfield.
Great crowd out here at Lebanon High. That first high school football matchup, as a fan, as a high school student, always fun to just dive into the season. Two high school football communities that really show up for their programs, as there's a big hit at midfield. Turner Boswell, who's been on the receiving end of many of Ryan Newell's passes early on. So we've got a triple header for you. The Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend to open the season. Second quarter action here at Lebanon. Tomorrow night, hope you'll join us over at Beach as they host the Green Hill Hawks. And then on Saturday, public versus private powerhouses. The Oakland Patriots, defending champions of 6A, again travel to Christ Presbyterian Academy. Newell throwing on the run, and it's a little too much for Kaysen Booher, the senior. Brings up third down.
Newell doing a good job with the slice again, but throwing on the run into the path. And he has really good peripheral vision. You can see that he's allowing his blockers to set up, and then he cuts away from the defensive players and opens up the passing windows. But if you don't set your feet, it's going to be really hard to connect anything that's remotely contested.
Led this team to the second round of the 5A playoffs a year ago, beating Portland in the opening round before falling to Henry County. Sidearm out to the left side. That is enough for the first down. That is Rock Maurer, junior tight end. The pitch and catch moves the chains. It's a Bart Durham injury law chain mover for the Knights.
Tight ends are underrated going up the middle right there because the secondary they're so used to. Linebackers in this day and age of football have so much they have to do. You have to read the read option. You have to protect the edges. You have to watch guards pulling and quarterback eyes. So often that tight end can just sneak up the middle, and it's a big physical body that you can't just get moving into.
Lithmexe, he is popped in the backfield quickly. Tristan Lithmexe. There's Connor Burchett celebrating after the play. No gain for the senior back. This Lebanon defensive front done a nice job of limiting Lithmexe. Only 4 yards on 4 carries. And this is a Nolensville group, like we talked about in pregame, that brings back 4 of its 5 offensive line starters.
I'm pretty impressed so far. It's 2 disciplined ball clubs playing well for a week 1 matchup.
Newell chased out to the boundary, and they had it read all the way that time. Martavius Walker runs him down to set up a 3rd and long.
Martavius doing a good job against a runner like Newell, just wrapping up. The first man always wants to create chest contact, wrap up, hold the runner. Don't dive out, don't push. That allows secondary player to secure the tackle or look for a football. Forces a 3rd and long.
3rd and 13. Newell sends Jonathan Wright in motion. Quarterback keeper. And Lebanon once again all over it. It's Walker who wrestles him down to bring up 4th and long.
There is a flag on the field at the far end, the Nolensville sideline, in the area where you would assume either illegal procedure or offensive holding. We'll wait till we get the official call.
Here is Bobby Rollins.
Illegal shift against the offense.
Illegal shift.
That penalty is declined.
That penalty has been declined.
4th down.
Punt unit will be coming in as we get a look at Lebanon coach Chuck Gentry and his team forcing the punt, getting a chance at home here to get first time on the board.
So Lebanon's defense has stiffened up. Nolensville with 84 total yards on the night, but 57 of those came on the opening series. Bounce, Serpa gets a fortunate bounce on it, able to punt it away. Gregory back deep, he'll let it roll. And Lebanon will come out inside their own 20-yard line. So the Blue Devils just trying to string together some first downs and formulate a response here at home in week 1 on My TV 30.
All of us would like to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsor supporters, the Tennessee Army National Guard, UA Local 572, and Sonic, who through their contributions to this program make these games possible for you, the viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our Friday Night Rivals telecast. Greenway Kia, Bart Durham, South College, Wilson Bank and Trust, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, Josh Houston and Associates, Western Kentucky University. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Nolensville High School and our host, Lebanon High School.
The Blue Devils of Lebanon back out on offense, down by a score at home to open the 2026 season. Nate Dye, the quarterback transfer from Gallatin, screens it out to Gregory. That's his first touch of the game, and it's a 9-yard pickup for the speedy Arkansas State commit. Made his pledge earlier today. He's going to go play for Butch Jones and the Red Wolves.
Coming off of the season with 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Obviously some injury troubles for Lebanon coming into the game. Looking to get Gregory on the board. We are still early in the second quarter, still plenty of opportunities, but now with a successful first down like that, you have to imagine we'll see the run game come back, especially with such a physical runner with Matthew Clark that we've seen in that first quarter.
They mark it as a gain of 7, so it's a 2nd and 3 for Lebanon. Clark plunges into the pile, may have just enough for the first down.
Ball flies out. We'll see who comes up with it. That is, looks like they're going to signal that it's forward progress. 3rd down and short.
Here's the commitment earlier today, Gavin Gregory.
I can get back to class. But hey, pass me that ball. Mama good. I'll be committed to Arkansas State.
Special moment for him, no doubt. I can imagine that's one of those things that stays with you. How much do you remember about the day you pledged to Vanderbilt at Clarksville High?
I played probably over 80 games as an offensive lineman at the SEC or higher level. I'm a bad guy to ask about remembering things. Not much, but I remember I cared very deeply about it. That's what I do remember.
So he'll be going to Jonesboro to play for Butch Jones, who's heading into his 6th season at the helm. There is an injury on the field. Matthew Clark is being helped off. And man, you just hate to see this. The sophomore had gotten off to such a nice start. His first extended varsity experience filling in for Gianna Zita. Just kind of got folded up there under the pile.
Yeah, it looked like Clark came into the pile really high, and when his legs were coming down, so many bodies got come up. That's why you want to go shoulders low, low level of paddage. That way you fall forward and you don't rise into the air. But Clark is just such an aggressive player, fighting for that first down, fighting for that yard, fighting to get Lebanon on the board. You just hate to see it. Sometimes football is just an unfortunate mistress right there.
11 carries, 38 yards for the sophomore. So Deontay Wilson steps in. Again, this is a guy that is plenty capable at running back. They fake it to him and to Manier. Dye wants to throw. Now he's going to run. Dye with space jukes up to the 40. And there's the first big run of his varsity football career. A Bart Durham injury law first down. He wants to push the ball downfield, but Chuck Gentry told us, make no mistake, Nate Dye can scoop.
Dye with a gain of 16. Actually running a little bit of more than 30 yards right here, and he does a good job of keeping the third level on their heels, creating a little bit of extra, protecting the football, taking it to that side of the sideline. That way, if it does get popped out, it rolls out. Lebanon's starting to find some life here in this middle second quarter.
That's 16 yards for Dye. In his first career start after transferring from Gallatin. Screens it to Manier. The speed from Amari Manier gets it to midfield, just shy of the marker. But we're starting to see Lebanon open up the playbook a little bit more.
Looks like an easy pass right there from Dye, but it's just so important to get it right in front. Let Manier lead into it so that way he can get vertical early and start getting that speed for any contact that might come up. Good connection. Something that looks so easy is something that actually at this level you see a lot of teams struggle with.
Second and less than a yard. Wilson's first carry has blockers, and he darts into opposing territory.
Last time Lebanon crossed midfield, they gave up a turnover. They'll be looking to play a little bit more disciplined here. Keep the chains moving. Ball security.
Another Bart Durham injury law first down. Gain of 10 for the senior. They have Tyler Auth into the game now as well. The sophomore wearing number 15. They can move him around in the backfield. Try and get creative, as Lebanon at the moment is down their top 2 backs. Guy wants to throw quick, doesn't have it, with Sentel bearing down on him. Directing traffic, airs it out. Gregory goes down wanting a flag. He's not going to get it.
There's a ton of physicality there on the edge from both of them, but it did look like Gregory got more of it on the receiving end. From up here in the booth across the field, line judge right in front of it decides to let it play out. Physical football here on week 1. You can see just the left hand there from the Nolensville defender, Caleb Shin.
The number 2 corner on that side of the field. So it's 2nd and 10.
Play coming in a little late, 4 seconds left on the play clock.
And they're forced to burn a timeout here. First one of the game.
A lot of confusion, a little bit of frustration. Lebanon, whenever they cross this midfield line, that's where they sort of find their humps in any series.
So Bobby Rollins clearing it up. Looks like it is a timeout. And it is taken by Lebanon, so we're going to take it with them. First one of the game, the Blue Devils driving and looking to get on the board at home in week 1. Back at Lebanon High School, Danny Watkins Stadium. The second ever meeting between Lebanon and Nolensville, as the Knights are on the road looking to avenge last year's 27-22 Lebanon win. But right here it is the Blue Devils in a 7-point hole. Plenty of ball left. And this is the most promising drive of the day for the Blue Devils. Wilson spinning off a tackle. This is a guy in Deontay Wilson that is capable at running back, and they're plenty comfortable playing him there. But with how valuable he is to Lebanon on defense, it's something that typically Chuck Gentry and his staff shy away from. But injuries have given them no choice tonight.
And you start adding the workload on week 1, you start getting to 60, 80 count snaps, trying to get a lot of guys both ways. If you're going to be a playoff team, that's a lot of wear and tear that eventually comes into the body. You're just coming off of fall camp. That's all things that coaches have to consider. When you're a young man at that, you're ready to play, obviously, every single play, but just something to keep in mind.
And Gentry, the offensive play caller for this program as well. Here's a 3rd and 8. Football on the ground. Dye just has to fall on it at midfield. And just like That second Lebanon drive, Bruno, promising out of the gate. You start to cut into Nolensville territory, and then it's a fumble. This time, Lebanon able to recover.
It's just as almost if the fatigue of the game, and not even the fatigue, but just the little minute changes are just enough to break the rhythm. Obviously, Clark goes down. Now you got a new running back, so there's a new style of handoff. And just these little things start to pile up where when you get to a prolonged drive, all it takes on offense is one negative play, one penalty, one missed assignment. On defense, 10 people can do the wrong thing, but one guy can make a sack. On offense, you just don't get that leeway.
So Scott Stidham takes his first timeout on the Nolensville side as it brings up 4th and long. Let's take a look at what got this game to 7-zip on the opening drive for Nolensville. Newell going deep, looked like a sure incompletion, but Turner Boswell said, "I'll take that," just scooped it right up before it hit the grass for his first career touchdown as a senior. And since then, been a fairly even back and forth as Lebanon gets set to punt it away again. Nice contender for one of the catches of the year here on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. Jimenez to boot it. It is high into that Lebanon Knight and out of bounds into the Lebanon bench. And it will be solid field position for Nolensville, starting at about their own 39-yard line.
Play enough football, you just start to notice the little things. Body language, for example, the little frustrations, the way teammates communicate with each other. Nolensville is running off the field. They're already getting the play call in. Their offense is running off, whereas Lebanon is sort of lacking here and there, and that could be from a different situation with different players coming in. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect week one, but the momentum is on Nolensville. Still only a 7-0 game with 5 minutes left to play before half. Anything can happen.
Ryan Newell will feed with Mexe. Nice moves in the backfield to free up some space to the 45. Mexe averaged 7 yards per carry last season. 1,113 yards, 14 touchdowns on the ground. Added a couple more receiving. And they haven't even gotten him going yet tonight. See if Nolensville leans on the run game a bit more here out of the backfield. They fake it to him. Newell plenty capable himself, bouncing off tacklers across midfield for a Bart Durham injury law first down.
Lebanon is trying to catch Nolensville, their offensive front, off with this cadence shift that they do. They wait for Nolensville to start their cadence, then they go into the shift, hoping that it creates a missed assignment from the offensive line. But all you have to do as an offensive lineman is imagine your zone principles. If someone's covering you inside, well, then it's a double team. Someone's covering you outside, well, then you're on assist. And so if you can just follow those principles rather than say to a set player, you're going to have success. And right now, Nolensville is finding a lot of success in the zone game.
With Mexe. Tries the left side. Trailing tackle brings him down. That is Dearl Legs, who's shaken up after the play. This would be another brutal injury for the Blue Devils. A guy that missed the majority of last season with a broken collarbone in Legs.
Legs made his name known early in the first quarter with 3 solo tackles, nearly back-to-back-to-back against the Nolensville offense.
Which is almost exactly what he did a year ago against this Nolensville team. In the first quarter of that week 1 matchup, Dearl Legs had 5 tackles. He had a forced fumble. He recovered the fumble. He had a pair of TFLs in the first quarter. And went on to get injured 4 games into the season. So certainly hope that young man is okay and that he's able to play out his full senior season here at Lebanon. Good to see him walk off the field. Good coaching matchup here. 2 guys with a lot of respect for each other. Scott Stidham on the right of Nolensville, who told us as he goes into his 2nd year leading the Knights that Lebanon's the kind of program he's looking to emulate in terms of the consistency that Chuck Gentry has established here.
We're no strangers to coming to Lebanon High School. It's always a great environment, great football game.
Lifmexe starting to get some push up front are the Knights, and Lifmexe takes advantage for an 11-yard gain and a first down.
I could describe Lifmexe's style as just real graceful, which is the perfect thing you want for a zone. All you have to do as a zone offensive lineman is keep your shoulders square, and even if you give up a little bit of penetration, you create contact and you don't let it go. That allows a graceful runner like Lifmexe to scrape off the walls and get net positive yardage.
Early movement. Newell got him with the hard count.
Lebanon defenders jump into that neutral zone. That'll get called against you every
Prior
time as
to
a
the
defender.
snap. Encroachment on the defense. 5 yards from the previous spot. First down.
How satisfying is that as an offense when you force the jump?
Ooh, God, it was the best question you've ever asked me. It's the greatest thing on it. I'll always point out. I never say anything during games, but I always give a little bit of double action on my shoulders.
They go to Lifmexe again. He's just trying to get the edge. Cuts up field at the 30 before he's popped. Just trying to work back to the line of scrimmage. It brings up 2nd and 5. No gain. Really starting to feed Lifmexe here in the second quarter as he heads to the sideline.
That's why I'm going to describe the flow of the game so far. It's just like two meat grinders trying to see which one can wear down the other one first. Looks like Nolensville still is controlling just a little bit of advantage, but no one pulling away just yet. They are on the Lebanon side of the football field.
They go to the ground. This time it's a carry for Caleb Shin. Or check that. Rather, that's Jonathan Wright, the senior back, getting his first touch. And does enough to push ahead for the first down. So Nolensville just grinding clock here. Each team with 2 timeouts. The Knights will get the football to open the second half. So trying to take up as much of this second quarter clock as they can. Nolensville seeking their first trip to the red zone tonight as well. Back to Wright. Fights back to the line of scrimmage. Clock continues to churn.
Deontay Wilson getting the tackle right there. You can see how valuable he is on defense. That's why there's not necessarily the hesitance, but he was called up second today behind Clark. Just too valuable right there in the middle against the run game of Nolensville.
See if Newell puts it in the air here as we approach 60 ticks on the second quarter clock. Lebanon showing some pressure. Lifmexe has a hole. Lifmexe to the 10, and he is gone. Touchdown Nolensville, and the Knights are an extra point away from doubling the lead.
Nolensville was in a second and 10 situation, and it kind of gets into that, well, it's a runner pass option. But Nolensville controlling the clock, wanting to stick to that run game. This is where the physicality of football starts to wear down defenses, where 4 yards become 10, 10 become 20, and then finally you get that explosive play, and Nolensville makes it a 2-score game.
Serpis can make it a 14-point game with under a minute to go in the half, and he does. Tristan Lifmexe's first touchdown of the season. It is brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Nolensville.
Take a look at the run right here. This is just your normal inside zone, and then he cuts off the backside. There's too much space to be covered by a nickel defender. Hugs the walls. Watch right here how he scrapes the paint off of his backside blocker, number 80, Rock Manure, the tight end junior. literally scrapes the backside of his plate. That allows him just to get enough space to squeeze, and then the angle is wrong for the third-level players of the Lebanon defense.
Committing to the run game, Nolensville there with offensive coordinator Brett Tavo. And that gives Lebanon 52 seconds to scratch out something before they got to kick it back to Nolensville to start the third quarter. So there you really saw that offensive line we talked about with 4 or 5 starters returning, starting to impose their will.
And it's not like they're, flying down the field with 30 pancakes. They're just playing assignment sound football. They're staying square to the defenders. They're running their feet, giving just enough space and holding. We always say defensive tackles make TFLs, linebackers make tackles. And right there, they're not allowing the Lebanon front to get into the backfield.
Serpis not going to allow Gregory a touch. Lebanon will have it on the 20. Blue Devils looking for a spark here to close out the second quarter.
Neither of these teams really have the offenses right now to apply into a 50-second, 2-minute drill as we take a look at our scoring summary for Nolensville as they go up to 8 plays, 61 yards, capped off by that 24-yard rush by Lithmexe off the backside of that zone.
And I imagine Scott Stidham's favorite stat from that Farm Bureau Insurance scoring summary, over 4 minutes off the clock.
Giving Lebanon not enough time with only 52 seconds on the clock in their run-first offense. Going to be interesting to see if they try anything or they just run it out to halftime.
Nate Dye will put it in the air from Manier on the screen, through the hands and incomplete.
Nice pass to Manier, incomplete.
Frustrating first half for Lebanon. We've seen them string together some first downs, get into opposing territory. Just that inability to sustain drives approaching the red zone. Something that I'm sure will be a topic of conversation for Chuck Gentry and this group in the locker room.
And people can overcomplicate it. That's a finished situation right there. That's where your training, your practice. If you're a secondary player and you get called into a position that you have to mesh into an offensive system like the snap of a finger, there can't be drop off from a 1 to a 2 or 3s, especially on week 1, because they've had 2 real good scoring opportunities, or at least to get into the red zone and flip the field, and they're having turnovers.
Quarterback keeper Dye wheels up to the 30 where he's tripped and may have just enough to stop the clock to move the chains. He does. Bart Durham injury law, first down.
Dye lining his team up with a sense of urgency, trying to get some plays in, but it looks like the signals are coming in. He's having to give the play to his offensive lineman. The signal's going. It's just not fast enough for an offense to convert in a 2-minute situation.
Lebanon does have 2 timeouts. Dye guns it, tipped and intercepted. Coming back the other way, this is Gavin Phillips, and he gets down inside the 20. Disaster strikes for Nolensville. Or for Lebanon rather, it is Nolensville who can tack on to their lead before halftime.
This is what I'm talking about, Lucas, where you're trying to do too much. Lebanon does not have the offense or the system or the plays or anything to cover, in 20 seconds, 80 yards when you haven't been able to do it consistently all first half, and then you're going to throw it over the field, across the entire field, across your own body with 20 seconds left. That is just too much of a risk, and now Nolensville has a chance to really run away with this score going into the second half. Only 10 seconds left, but that's probably 2 to 3 plays if you manage it properly.
The junior safety.
After the change of, we have blindside block against the defense during the return. 15 flag, first down.
So that'll complicate a field goal attempt, no doubt, as Nolensville was in prime position to make it a 3-score lead before the half. And they stepped this thing off all the way back to the Lebanon 45 with 10 seconds to play and 2 timeouts.
Such an important penalty that could have consequences later down the line of this football game. We'll see. It all depends on Lebanon, what they talk about at halftime, or organized, trying to get back into a rhythm when they cross midfield. But right here, they get a little bit of a break.
So it takes the run game out of the equation a bit if Nolensville is going to push to get into field goal range. Stay with us. The Greenway Kia halftime report coming up. Newell. And timeout on the field.
Timeout. Lebanon. The first of the half.
So Chuck Gentry wants to talk about it. Moments away from that Greenway Kia halftime report, we will highlight this week's Sonic Scholar athletes, have participating school administrator interviews, plus highlights from here and across the nation, and plenty more as we get the high school football season started. And hey, something big is happening at Greenway Kia's 3 big locations. Follow Greenway Kia Nashville and be one of the first to know. So Ryan Newell and Nolensville talking about their approach. If they do want to go deep, this is a guy that's headed to play in the Bowling Green outfield, a baseball player at the college level, so he can get it down the field. And Matthew Serpis is a kicker with range. Newell's off to a nice start. Stay tuned for the UA Local 572 Player of the Game coming up. We'll let you know in the fourth quarter. UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry. Two timeouts for Nolensville. Maybe 2-3 plays if they use them well. He lobs to Shin, and it's incomplete. It leaves 6 seconds and maybe a heave to the end zone if they choose to go that route.
I don't know many high school teams that going into a week one, it's something you practice in fall camp, maybe at the end of like in your 15th period, we call it situations.
What, the Hail Mary? Yeah,
but it's not something you would call in this situation. It looks like they're going to line up in a base formation and take it to halftime.
Newell will throw. Goes down the sideline, and it falls incomplete with time on the clock. 1 second remaining. So there will be one play remaining in this half. And more bad news for Lebanon here. Gavin Gregory is shaken up after the play. This does look like a cramping situation. Never want to speculate, of course. It just has that look.
Timeout. Timeout, Nolensville. The second of the half.
The body demands what the mind overlooks, Lucas, and it's just there's nothing more humbling than the cramp. Have you ever had, I'm assuming everyone here has had cramps. Have you ever had an entire lower body cramp? I remember when when you're a redshirting college athlete, you have to do what's called development lifts. That's where you run before practice, you practice on the scout team, then you do a lift, and the lift's way hard. It's just too much.
I'm sorry, one more time. The body demands what the mind, what was it?
I forgot what I said, but it was really profound at the moment.
You just blacked out for a second, gave us some
something wise.
Some philosophy. So good to see Gregory walking off. The body demands what the mind overlooks, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
Put that in a Christmas card or something.
Thumbs up from Gregory, the future Arkansas State Red Wolf. But he will step off to the side. No, he is back in. One more play before the Greenway Kia halftime.
Empty backfield.
Full prevent for Lebanon. Newell's going to try to get it there. He's got a man. It is incomplete. And that closes out the opening half of the 2026 season here on Friday Night Rivals. Sammy Kincaid in a moment will catch up with Nolensville head coach Scott Stidham. Showing off the arm there, Ryan Newell.
It surprised me. It had enough to make a play of it, but it's just a little bit too much off awkward angle, and it makes contact with Manier, who decides to just let it drop.
Booher was the man in the neighborhood. Let's go downstairs to Sammy. Let's go down to Sammy and Coach Stidham.
Coach, I don't remember the last time I saw somebody have bunnies the way that you were hopping up and down after that interception. Talk to me about the momentum shift there at the end of the first half.
I used to be able to jump a long time ago. No, that was big to keep them from scoring, but then we have a foolish penalty that took 3 points off the board with a great kicker like that. So always one of the things that can improve, but we did some good things, but that's a good football team. We got a tough half ahead of us.
You just said you got another half ahead of you. What is the message to the team to really keep that momentum going into the second half?
Yeah, we get the ball, so going down to score, making sure we take care of it, that's going to be huge. But, they're explosive. They got some great speed out there and they're really physical on defense. We just got to keep pounding, forget about the previous play, and go 6 seconds at a time, see what we can do.
Yeah, well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have more for you, stats, highlights, and we'll talk to administrators. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching the Greenway Kia Halftime Report. Something big is happening at Greenway Kia's 3 big locations. Follow Greenway Kia Nashville and be one of the first to know. We're proud to present the Sonic Scholar Athlete of the Week. This week's Scholar Athletes are Braden Holland from Nolensville High School and Ellie McDonald from Lebanon High School. Braden has a 4.55 GPA and is a 4-year varsity football player. He is also a member of the National Honor Society. Ellie is an all-district 3-year volleyball starter, a 3-year basketball starter as a shooting guard, and she's a member of the Beta Club. These All-Stars are now entered to win a $10,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Sonic Athletes of the Week. Live free, eat Sonic.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University.
High school where Nolensville currently leads 14-0, and I am joined by Nolensville's principal, Dr. Jennifer Calvert. And thank you so much for joining me here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, tell me about the student achievement at Nolensville.
Yeah, we're really excited to kick off the 26-27 school year. We've got a lot of great things going on. We wrapped up last school year with some great successes we want to keep building on. We had 8 National Merit finalists, a 25 average on our ACT. We're just really proud of our students and the hard work that they put into their education and the activities they're involved in.
Yeah, no. School pride and the culture at Nolensville.
Yeah, we really feel like it's second to none. That's what we're all about. We have a slogan at Nolensville called that goes, "We are one," and we really mean it. It's not just something we put on a shirt, and we build each other up and support each other. You'll notice right now, even all of our students and football players, if they were able to, would be watching the band. It's just a really supportive community, and we're just so thankful for that amongst each other in the building, but also amongst all our community members.
Absolutely. You just mentioned the community. Talk about the positive impact that these athletes, this team has on the local community.
Yeah, we're so proud of our student athletes. Our coaches really do an excellent job of modeling leadership and what it means to be a student athlete, and that the bar is really high for those students, and they lead every day on the field, on the court, and in the classrooms, and it's really important that they reflect what their team is about, and they take pride and ownership in that. It's really exciting.
Yeah, and you got people that traveled, and there's always a ton of community support at Nolensville. Talk about that community support that you always see.
Yeah, if you've ever been to a Friday Night Lights at home, you know that we know how to show up. And even here at Lebanon being our first game, we sure did show up tonight. So we're really proud of that. And we want to support our players and our cheerleaders and our band members for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much for joining me here for the WKU Educator Spotlight. And whenever we come back from this break, we'll talk to Lebanon's administration and have stats, highlights, a lot more. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
At Western Kentucky University. This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University.
Welcome back to Lebanon High School, where they're currently hosting Nolensville, and I won't say that score because we got the Lebanon administrator right next to me. We have Dr. Scott.
Whole other half to play.
We got Dr. Scott Walters with us, the principal at Lebanon High School. And thank you so much for hosting us for game 1 of the season.
Of course. We've gotten good at it, so I'm glad to have you back.
Absolutely. Tell me first about the success of all of the fall programs that you have here, fall sports that are going on, golf, soccer. You got a lot of successful programs.
It's crazy how fast it gets going. We're only in the 3rd week of school, but glad football has finally started. But we've got a golf team that is just kind of crushing everybody, boys golf. volleyball and soccer. Soccer's away, volleyball's here tonight. We're super busy, but winning a lot of games. So we're happy to celebrate all of them, all the people who've got full schedules this time of year. It's been an exciting beginning to the sports season.
Yeah, and it's an exciting year here at Lebanon. You got a huge freshman class that came in, a ton of growth here at Lebanon High School, right?
Yes, we just keep getting bigger and bigger. If you drive around here, you kind of see why. Houses going up everywhere. But, yeah, our freshman class is one of the biggest we have ever had. So we're trying to do a lot of things to teach this big freshman class how to be successful high school students. It's going really well, and we're excited to see them grow into, I don't know, better sophomores.
I'm sure they're a great freshman class. It's your 12th year here. We've been doing these interviews for 5 years now. 12 years. What can you say about the community here at Lebanon High School?
Yes. 12 years is a long time. Well, sometimes it feels like a long time, and sometimes it feels like I just started. I was joking. I said, you never know by looking at me, right? 12 years has flown by. But this is a really strong community. Feel so blessed to be here. We've got awesome support, like administrators, parents, athletic director. Like when we have events like this, they're easy. Everybody pitches in. I've just learned that's a great place to live and work over the last little more than a decade now.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for hosting us here tonight. It's always great to be here at Lebanon High School. And so thank you again to WKU for this Educator Spotlight. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have stats, highlights, a lot more. Stick with us. We'll be right here at Lebanon High School.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University. Tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Rivals can also be seen streaming live on mytv30web.com, Fox 17 Facebook Live, and YouTube. Brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction.
You're watching the Greenway Kia Halftime Report. Something big is happening at Greenway Kia's 3 big locations. Follow Greenway Kia Nashville and be one of the first to know.
Welcome back to Lebanon High School, week 1 of the 2026 season, where the Nolensville Knights lead it 14-0 the scores. We welcome you back to the booth. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan with you. The bands are in action during the Greenway Kia halftime. And Lebanon did some good things in that first half, Bruno, but ultimately unable to finish drives, and Nolensville in control.
I feel like I'm watching like a welterweight boxing fight. It's not even football. It's just two teams hitting each other in the face so much. And obviously Nolensville has come away with the edge there, but the momentum has shifted their way. It looks even on the field of play, obviously. Lebanon will have a chance coming out of halftime to maybe make a statement.
Let's look back at some of the action from the first half. Nolensville won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so it was Lebanon who got the football to start things off, and the Blue Devils couldn't get much going in the early onset.
Obviously, we had some injury trouble with Matthew Clark laying the boom. Very physical player. He eventually goes out. We see the Lebanon defense getting some wrap-ups. Number 44 on the defensive side for Kett getting a lot of love, and then we switch off to Nolensville, who's currently up 14-0.
This was the tip drill interception to close out the first half for the visiting Knights, as Gavin Phillips got on the end of it, and this is what made it 14-zip. Kristen Lift-Mexe on a clock-chewing drive, but this is what got things started for Nolensville. Newell going deep. How about the tip drill for Boswell?
Boswell kept his eyes throughout the entire. It looked like he was going into two separate Lebanon defenders, but Boswell still attacks the position of the football. One of the big plays that allowed them to go up 2 scores. As we take a look at our halftime stats, passing, Nolensville leading in that, 52 yards to Lebanon's 21. Rushing fairly even, 88-77, with a total coming out to 140 yards to Lebanon's 98 here on the home. But there is the stat that defines the first half, the turnover margin.
And so Lebanon will have to first get a stop to open up the third quarter, and then they'll look to try to work back into this thing at home. Our favorite game here on Friday Night Rivals. Bruno Reagan, what moon is that?
Come on, that's the half moon. That's all it's called, right? It's just a half moon?
We'll let you guys Google it and figure it out at home. Every week during halftime of our Friday Night Rivals broadcast, we showcase outstanding Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals game highlights from across the country. For this special edition, in week 1, we check out some of the best from 2025.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
Ron, nice cut move, and a hurdle. He's still on his feet. Are you kidding me? Caleb Ron, touchdown. Oh, my goodness. What did he just do?
He will roll right, under pressure, still on his feet, trying to find somebody downfield. He's in trouble. He'll throw it to the back of the end zone. The receiver's wide open. Touchdown, McQueen.
Michael Henry got his field goal blocked, caught it, and said, look what I found. Touchdown. In one of the most bizarre football plays you will ever see.
Pressure, throws it downfield to the middle of the field. What a catch, coming up and grabbing the ball.
Oh, my goodness. I had no idea it was one-handed that he grabbed that thing and hauled it in.
Another rush, they're going to throw the screen, and it's intercepted. How about the big fella, Akeem Davis? Davis staying on his feet. Look at him go. Davis. They can't bring him down. Akeem Davis is still moving. At the 30, at the 25, he's stuck out of there. Are you kidding me, Akeem Davis? He is in for the touchdown.
55-yard field goal from the left hash. The kick is up, and it is. It's gone at the buzzer. Bryant is the hero for the Buccaneers.
Halfway done at Danny Watkins Stadium. Both teams getting ready to come back out as we welcome you back into the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. Lucas Panzica and Bruno Reagan with you upstairs. Sammy Kincaid down on the field. We will hear from her. And Lebanon head coach Chuck Gentry here shortly. But so far, so good for this Nolensville team, Bruno, that really started to control the line of scrimmage in the second quarter.
They're controlling the line of scrimmage. They're playing the most consistent. They're relying on a reliable plan with zone, not getting too creative. They obviously have a lot of advantages with mobility at the quarterback position. They seem to be the more polished team. They're also winning the turnover margin by twofold in a first half situation. You can't ask for a better situation.
And both teams looking to start 1-0 in 2026. Lebanon going to need a comeback effort to do it. And we're just getting started here in week one. The second half still to go here at Lebanon. Tomorrow night, Green Hill pays a visit to the Beach Buccaneers in a week one rematch from 2025. And then on Saturday night to close it out, a matchup of powerhouses. Oakland, the defending 6A champions, paying a visit to the Christ Presbyterian Academy Lions. A powerhouse coaching matchup. Kevin Creasy versus Ingle Martin. Can't wait. Hope you'll join us as our Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend continues. Always a fun frenzy to get us going on the opening weekend of high school football. Those week one jitters have hopefully subsided for both of these head coaches. And Lebanon is trying to right the ship here in this second half. Injuries have not helped the Blue Devils here tonight. Gian Azeda, the standout running back, not playing. He has been day-to-day with a hamstring. That's a 1,300-yard rusher down for the count here in week one. And then you really started to see the sophomore running back for Lebanon come on in Matthew Clark, and he goes out with an injury in the second quarter. So a lot to overcome early on for Chuck Gentry's squad.
Yeah, he kind of, what do they call it, a double-edged sword. Matt Clark was so physical, but caught up with him, and he was trying to fight for some yards, got a little high, trying to go for that first down, got rolled up on the bottom half, and Lebanon having to pull players they love on defense into their offensive system, and you can see it in the handoffs and in just the poise that they have right now, and it's creating those turnovers more than Nolensville is forcing it.
Chuck Gentry walking back out. We'll hear from him in a moment, but first we remind you that Fridays at 9:30 or Friday after college football, Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust, is on the air. Catch the biggest plays, the most unbelievable hits. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has you covered, highlights, scores, and plenty more for high school football action across the mid-state. Fridays at 9:30 or after college football, don't miss out. Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust, who is proud to sponsor our local schools and student athletes, both on and off the field. Great to read that for you again as the Friday night lights are shining bright under the Lebanon night sky here in Middle Tennessee. Just a fine high school football community out here. A program coming off a region title that is resetting some things and down 14-0 against Nolensville at a 5A. Let's go downstairs to Sammy with Chuck Gentry.
Coach, a big battle up front. What was the message to the team to be able to get that ball moving here in the second half?
Well, we just have to calm down and execute. We a lot of self-inflicted wounds, you know, and probably a little too many pointing fingers in there. So I went in and calmed them down. You know, one play at a time. Long second half. You know, you're not out of it till it's over, but you know, just one play at a time. Play, do your job, block, tackle, and execute, and things will get better.
And it's only a 14-0 lead. You said it's not over till it's over. It's still a close game.
Right. We got to come out and get a stop right here and then get some points on the board. But we have to function and play like we're capable of playing. That was not a good showing, you know, and hopefully we can get together and play like we're supposed to.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Nolensville will get the football to open up the third quarter. Matthew Serpis getting some warm-ups in before the second half gets underway. How important is it for Lebanon to come out and get a stop out of the gates here?
Well, if they can get a 3 and out, that gives a lot of momentum. It gives field position more than anything, and it also gives a chance for Nolensville to kind of have to reset, redesign, because they have all the momentum right now. They get to go into halftime. Very rarely do high school teams at this level carry a second half package. They're going to, hit the zone. They're going to rely on the quarterback run. But if you can go 3 and out and stuff those things that have been successful for them, it's going to just shift the momentum of the football game, which is what Lebanon desperately needs. You allow it to be a 9-10 play drive. That's where the softening process is going to start to really affect, and Nolensville will come out with more and more explosive plays just off of their base packages.
Scott Stidham in year 2 at Nolensville. A relatively young program, only about 10 years into its existence in Williamson County, but Stidham got off to a nice start a year ago, going 8-4 and taking this group to the second round of the 5A playoffs, looking to build on that. Let's go down to Sammy for an injury report before kickoff.
Hey guys, for the Bart-Durham injury update, we'll start out on Nolensville. Still out for Nolensville is Levi Nodhaus. He's out with a foot injury. Switching over to Lebanon, that list did get a little lengthy going into the second half. Out tonight is offensive lineman Caden Goodlow. He is out with a dislocated knee, as well as Gian Ezita with the hamstring, as well as Matthew Clark is now out for the remainder of the game, as well as Zero leg. So that running back room is really going to be struggling on this Lebanon side.
Big blow for Clark to miss the rest of the game. You mentioned Azita, 1,300-yard rusher from last season, out from the jump. So early adversity this season for Lebanon, but they got to bring out the defense first here as they get set to kick it to Tristan Lithmexe, standing back deep. They backed it up to the 25-yard line, Bruno. So an unsportsmanlike conduct or a personal foul, we did not see the flag or the call. Not sure if it stemmed from something that happened here after the halftime break or at the end of the half.
It's just one of those things that's applied after the half, and since we don't get the call, we don't get the information up here, unless you want me to run down and ask. But until then, we can assume that there was some sort of situation where, again, Lebanon finding themselves now in a disadvantageous situation to start.
The Wilson Bank and Trust kickoff. To get us going, this is Ryan Shaw, the junior, who flutters it to the 20-yard line. It is fielded by Mora, and he's got room reversing field and thrown down. Face mask flags will come in. Tough start for Lebanon. The penalty yardage applied to the kickoff and then tacked on to the end of the return. That was Deontay Wilson who came in with the stop.
Nolensville getting a gift in a handbasket with the penalty to set them back on the kickoff, and the penalty now to
Personal
move them
foul.
forward.
Face mask. Number 3 on the kicking team. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
Deontay Wilson, the defender linebacker that has been forced to shift in on running back, just gets a little bit high with that right hand. Knows it coming up. That's the worst. You stare down the referee and you're just waiting. It's like getting called to your parents' room or the principal's office.
So the first snap of the half for Nolensville comes from Lebanon territory as Lithmexe pushes ahead to the 40-yard line, make it a second and short right out of the gate.
A lot of Lebanon football players down on the ground there at that point. Nolensville coming out very physical on the first play.
They really got Lithmexe going in the second quarter. That's his 10th carry. He has 53 yards, including the 24-yard score inside the final minute of the second quarter. Here is 2nd and 3. Nolensville offense under the lights. Week 1 on the road for the Knights. Newell, play action, steps up, wants to throw, and as he goes down, he gets it out of bounds. Brings up 3rd down for Ryan Newell in this offense. Bowling Green baseball commit and a guy that is no stranger to playing under the lights or to playing on television. Ryan Newell was a member of one of the multiple Nolensville Little League squads that made it all the way to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So this is a guy that is no stranger to playing in the spotlight.
Isn't that every young kid's dream to be on that TV and talking about whatever they talk about?
Newell calls his own number, spins out of the pile, and this time Lebanon has him chased down, pushing him all the way back, and flags come in.
I mean, that's just undisciplined football right there. That is incredibly, and you can see the frustration rolling around now.
Yeah, Manier frustrated, Connor Burchett in there, senior safety, number 44. And this could be a bailout for Nolensville.
I'm frustrated just watching, so I understand, but you have to be
After the
composed.
play, right here on the deacon. 10 yards from the end. First down by yard.
I'll give you a count right here because you're not going to be able to hear it, but the whistle blows. There's the first wrap up. Forward progress is done, and the whistle is blowing, whistle is blowing, whistle is blowing, whistle is blowing. Just absolutely unnecessary.
And that spots the ball at the 27. So Nolensville, just like that, approaching the red zone on the opening drive of the third quarter. With Mexe has a hole open up for him, but it closes quickly. Elliott Greer makes the tackle, ends up a gain of maybe 2 on the play.
Nolensville offensive line trying to launch off the ball physical, whereas in the first half on their zone plays, they were staying extremely square and paced and controlled on the defensive front with eyes on the secondary, letting Mexe set up his blocks. Here they're trying to fire out and create a statement, but I think it's kind of working against them right now.
Newell. Relays the play call. With Mexe dragging defenders across the 20. They mark it there, and it will be 3rd and short.
Nolensville also attacking time of possession. You can see the sense of urgency they have as we take a look after 3 different bailouts for Nolensville. You can see Chuck Gentry was talking about staying focused, doing the little things right, just taking it one play at a time. Come out on a kickoff with a personal foul coming out of the half. See right here, attacking the time of possession is Nolensville. They're already up 2 score. They're in the red zone or attacking in the maroon zone, looking to control the ball game.
Newell, quarterback keeper, bumped out of bounds, just shy of the marker.
4th down territory right here. If Nolensville wants to try and make a statement, they do have the kicking game to make it a guaranteed 3-score game.
They end up marking it no gain, so it's 4th and short, 4th and 2. And the offense is on the field for the moment.
Looks like they're bringing in a heavier package, maybe a 22 or 23 personnel, bigger bodies on the edges.
This is absolutely within the range of kicker Matthew Serpis.
It's going to end up being a timeout here, Lucas.
Yeah, play clock down to 1 and 0. The flag ends up coming in. We'll see if Stidham got the timeout off.
Prior to the snap, delay game against the offense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay 4th down.
So that'll back it up 5 yards, and now the field goal team will come on. So Matthew Serpis, the senior kicker, his first attempt of the season. This will be a 39-yard field goal attempt for a guy that made a 52-yarder in practice just last week. On the way, no good. Serpis pushes it, and it remains a 14-0 game.
Lebanon players slow to get up there on the field goal attempt. But you talk about bailouts. Lebanon coming off with no points after those 3 disastrous personal fouls back to back to back. They get out of a bind.
And we'll see if they can take advantage. Lebanon's offense will take the field when we come back, trailing 14-0 at home. Here's the miss from Matthew Serpis. Had plenty of distance. Pushed it wide to the left.
Again, we were mentioning earlier, Lebanon kind of getting a bailout. Still only a 2-score game on this offensive series. They can take back a lot of the mistakes that they had coming out of the second half and start chipping away.
And it's a quick screen to Gavin Gregory on the right side. Good enough to put Lebanon ahead of the sticks here on their opening series of the third quarter. Gregory, our player to watch for the Blue Devils. Arkansas State pledge as of today. He had fielded offers from almost 20 D1 programs. Memphis, Wake Forest, Tennessee in there as well. And he's going to go play for the former Tennessee coach, Butch Jones. A program that were Xbox Bowl champs a year ago. After the gain of 8, this is Wilson. Very patient behind his blockers and is able to weave up to the 39. So after all that, to open up the half, a personal foul that pushes back the kickoff, a face mask tacked on to the end of the kick return, and then a late hit that bails out Nolensville to give them a free first down. Lebanon comes away without conceding any more points. Here's an opportunity to take advantage.
Deontay Wilson right there having a great game. Ended up getting the face mask on the last series, but coming on offense and making up for it. They're 11 yards away from crossing half field, which is where Lebanon really needs to show their improvement. They've struggled when they cross the half field mark.
Nate Dye, the junior quarterback. The southpaw darts it to Gregory. Nice timing throw as he is tackled down by Brennan Bialik. So getting Gregory involved on both sides of the field, trying to utilize that speed on the edge. That brings up 2nd and 3 after a 7-yard pickup. Wilson has plenty of room on the left side and into Nolensville territory. Stays up after that first hit. And Deontay Wilson starting to grow into this game a little bit.
Just like that, the subtle shifts of momentum. Let's take a look at how Lebanon is organizing right there. Here with some gap schemes. They got lead pullers, and Wilson is hitting the outside edges when he sees too much open space. I'd say just as a little bit, he could cut up the field and follow his blockers off the edge, but there was just too much grass there not to take it, so can't blame the young man. Nolensville having a little bit of trouble covering the edges right now. They do well down the middle in the front 7.
A gain of 11.
If I'm Lebanon, I'm leaning on this power attack.
And Wilson plants a foot, changing direction. Trailing tackle gets him down from Cole Cresium, the lead tackler of this defense a year ago. But this is exactly the area you were just talking about. Getting into opposing territory, that's where Lebanon has stalled in the first half. We saw on 2 occasions the ball hitting the ground, 1 fumble that was lost. Now a chance to finish a drive, and it feels like Nolensville has controlled this game, but the Blue Devils a touchdown away from a 1-score ball game. They'll keep feeding Wilson. Works his way inside the 40, and here's a big 3rd down coming up for Lebanon.
A little bit of a unique gap scheme, not your traditional counter power. They're doing the pin pull, trying to get Wilson out in space, allowing their big boys down the middle just to hit some down blocks. A lot of misdirection, and we see a Lebanon player go down coming off the field.
Well, unfortunately, injuries have kind of been the theme for the Blue Devils tonight. From before kickoff to throughout the course of the game. Down their top 2 running backs, Gianna Zita, an all-state player last year, incredibly productive back, not playing tonight with a hamstring. Sophomore Matthew Clark came in and really stepped up, but left the game in the first half and has been ruled out. And we will get a confirmation for you here as soon as we have it officially on the man down. Scott Stidham getting his Nolensville group together. So we'll take a break while they tend to the Blue Devil that's down, and we'll let you know exactly what's happening when we return. Lebanon with the ball, down 14. Carson Pierce, the starting left guard for Lebanon, the man that was down, was able to walk off the field by his own power, so he'll be replaced by Caden Goodlow for this 3rd and 3. There you see Ryan Newell, who has marshaled this Nolensville offense to a 14-0 lead. But Lebanon trying to work its way back into it in week 1 of the 2026 season. Part 1 of our Friday Night Rivals triple header to kick off 2026. Nate Dye will put it in the air for the first time in the half. He'll launch it deep. Gregory separating and catching complete inside the 5. Dye goes deep, 34 yards to the Arkansas State commit.
Lebanon, Tennessee comes to life after 8 minutes of waiting, watching. Gregory, our player to watch, makes the play of the game so far for Lebanon.
And going quickly to Wilson, who can't punch it in. Destin Lawrence stops him just shy of the goal line to bring up 2nd and goal. What a gutsy call by Chuck Gentry to attack with the long ball, and Dye connects with his new teammate.
Dye doing such a good job of throwing it to the space that Gregory has committed to off the back right shoulder, where he can not push off, but hold the defender with his own body and then create that separation in that layout. It was just perfect.
Gallatin transfer. Hands off to Wilson. This time he gets in. Touchdown Lebanon, and the Blue Devils are right back in it at home.
A little too tired to celebrate properly, but Lebanon has shifted the momentum of this football game.
With an extra point, they can make it a 7-point ball game with plenty of time to go. What a response from the offense. Chuck Gentry told Sammy Kincaid, one play at a time, and that's what they do coming out of the half. And now Eli Jimenez is on for the extra point. And he boots it through. 14-7 ball game and a spark in that Lebanon sideline. Man, that felt needed to add some juice to this crowd to open up the season.
Lebanon dealing with injury problems. Clark starting out physical, coming out of the game. And Deontay Wilson, who has done a good job of defense, punching it in there off of that long pass to Gregory from Dye.
Man, that ball was up to the half moon that you pointed out at halftime here at Lebanon.
He was aiming for it. He let it guide him. It was a real profoundly spiritual experience.
Nate Dye, in his first career varsity start, backup quarterback at Gallatin for the last couple years, arrives at Lebanon for the spring and got a head start in getting to know this offense and his teammates. That 34-yard chunk play to Gregory set up the Wilson touchdown. And we've got a one-score game. Nolensville will get it back. With 3:54 remaining in the third quarter. Could be a fun finish here on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan with you upstairs. Sammy Kincaid down on the field. The Wilson Bank and Trust kickoff. Ryan Shaw. It will be fielded. Caleb Shin. Looking for a seam up the middle. He stopped just shy of the 25. And out comes the Nolensville offense, who got just about every break they could ask for the opening drive of the third quarter, but couldn't capitalize.
Such a subtle game. Obviously, Nolensville come out and they hold the edge the entire first half, and they just get gift after gift after gift, and just one little conversion, all of a sudden the game looks entirely different. We'll see what Newell has to answer as we take a look at our Farm Bureau Insurance scoring drive. 9 plays, 80 yards, capped off by that 1-yard rush by Wilson. But don't forget the long pass from Dye to Gregory.
Newell screens it out. Good stop by Lebanon. That's Kason Booher. There's one thing that Nolensville will look to do in the early portion of the season, as there's a timeout on the field and a Nolensville player down. So an injury timeout here. We'll be sure to tell you who it is. Again, looks to be a cramping situation. That is Turner Boswell, who caught the opening touchdown of the game, an acrobatic tip drill touchdown catch. So as they stretch out Booher down on the field, let's go down to Sammy Kincaid for more on the Nolensville Little League pipeline into this football program. Sammy?
Yeah, guys, with the Little League World Series currently going on, a team you often see playing for the title in Williamsport, the Nolensville Little League team. So we asked Coach, have any of your players played on any of those championship teams? He told us there were actually a few. Senior quarterback Ryan Newell, senior wide receiver Kason Bower, and junior wide receiver Lane Dever all played in Williamsport as little kids. Coach told me to go ahead and interview them, that they've been media trained ever since they were little, and they're used to the Nolensville reached the Little League World Series 3 consecutive years beginning in 2021, which did make them the first U.S. program since 1951 to make 3 precedents that set a record for the Little League realm.
That's awesome. Thanks, Sammy. Unfortunately, the Nolensville Little Leaguers fell just short in 2026, but what a history. And there's the ball on the ground. Newell able to rescue the possession. Does bring up 3rd and long, so the Knights going backwards here. But like we mentioned on the last Nolensville series, these guys are not a stranger to the spotlight, to playing on television, and now the pressure's starting to build a little bit with Lebanon picking up some momentum.
3rd and long, and not only that, on the far side of their own field, Lebanon could find themselves with great field position to start if they get the stop.
Yeah, this is 3rd and 12. Newell may have to put it in the air here. Rolling, being chased, and he just has to chuck it out of bounds. It brings up 4th down and a punting situation for the Knights. And this is as fired up as the Lebanon sideline has been all night.
Nolensville just sleepwalking here into the 3rd quarter. Only 2 minutes left and haven't been able to take advantage of much. It looked like they came out hot with their run game, but undisciplined in the kind of style they want to produce.
An opportunity for Lebanon to have the best starting field position they've had all night with the talented Gavin Gregory back deep. Surface will punt it away. That ball is coming down at midfield and takes a Lebanon bounce. Down at about the 43, so it is excellent starting field position for the Blue Devils.
Be something to consider. That home field advantage is starting to take into account too. The energy of the crowd and the football atmosphere that has been created here. Something we're all too familiar with.
No doubt. They've been playing football a long time here at Lebanon High School, and some of the best moments in the program, certainly in the 21st century, have come in the Chuck Gentry era. As another man is down. This time it is Tyler Barth, the backup quarterback and a linebacker on this Lebanon squad, as he's looked at. Our pregame check presentation to Lebanon High School. Always appreciate them. Fantastic host. To your point, Bruno, we have had some great memories here on Friday Night Rivals. Dr. Scott Walters and the entire staff at Lebanon High School, incredible hosts. We were here in the playoffs last year. Unfortunately for Lebanon, that was a first-round loss to Riverdale, but we've also had some of those legendary wins over Riverdale in the playoffs in the Chuck Gentry era. Most notably that 2021 season where Gentry led an 11-2 campaign that kind of hit its peak with that historic playoff win against Riverdale. So some good memories in this regime. Region champs last year, trying to recreate some of that here in 2026 as Barth is able to limp off the field. Nate Dye back out at quarterback for the Blue Devils. Nolensville needs a touchdown to tie it. Wilson, head of steam, and chopped down across the 40 before he received any contact. He already had a 5 or 6 yard gain.
The pacing of this game, Lebanon's gap scheme is going to be something I would immediately rely on. They do well here to create 2nd and 5. This opens up both a pass and run option, with Dye having to just found his mojo down the field. I think this is an opportunity at 2nd and 5 where you can afford to take a shot if they want to, but you also don't want to stop Wilson, who has found a rhythm too. A lot of options now.
Yeah, Wilson 49 yards on 9 carries. This will be his 10th. Reverses field. Deontay Wilson finishing the run. There's a linebacker playing running back. Has the first down. And the vision to see there was nothing going up the gut.
Yeah, watch this initial cut right here. Check out the eyes, sees his cut back. Really good job by the Lebanon offensive line. That if you're beat inside, you take that outside hand, fit it back inside, and then you displace your lineman. If you can't go vertically, go laterally. It allows your running back to create a big cut with a lot of space.
He's got 57 yards, and he didn't get a carry until late in the 2nd quarter. Deontay Wilson. Play action now for Dye. Will keep it himself and wheels down to the 23. And Lebanon now starting to roll downhill a little bit.
Lebanon looks extremely fatigued out there on the field right now. I mean, there's near walking right now. Dye was able to keep his eyes downfield, walk right out of the pocket. You can't allow that. There
No,
has
you
to
mean
be pressure.
Nolensville's looking to.
Oh, excuse me. Yes. But it just looks so free for Lebanon right now. I'm a little bit shocked.
2nd and 2. Closing out the 3rd quarter here. Wilson up the gut. Wilson across the 10 and tripped up inside the 5. The Blue Devils on the doorstep again. Deontay Wilson gashes the Knights for 20.
This is that gap scheme right here. It's a counter. They bring 2 off the backside, and off those cuts, he sees vision and scrapes the wall right there on the B gap instead of following the blockers. And that's just a distinctive football play as we go into the 4th quarter. Lebanon with all the momentum, down 1, but pressing on the door to tie it up.
Just a couple of yards away from evening the score. The 3rd quarter has belonged to the Blue Devils. We'll try to start the 4th with a bang coming up next.
Located on West Main and South Cumberland Streets, Hardee's is serving up big, combo burgers are made from scratch 7 days a week. Friday Night Lights opening weekend continues tomorrow night as Green Hill travels to Shackle Island to take on the Buccaneers of Beach. That's tomorrow, August 21 on MyTV 30. Your home for local, televised, high school sports in Middle Tennessee. MyTV 30.
Tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Rivals can also be seen streaming live on mytv30web.com, Fox 17 Facebook Live, and YouTube. Brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction.
The momentum on the side of the Blue Devils trying to finish the drive to start the 4th quarter with Wilson spinning off a tackle, and he is swarmed. Nolensville responding that time to back up Lebanon to the 7-yard line, making things just a little tougher on 2nd and goal. Touchdown away from tying the score after we went into halftime with Nolensville leading 14-0 and in full control.
Coach Stidham, you're going to be really happy right there coming out of that little break to start the 4th quarter. You get your defensive front just pushing into the backfield of that Lebanon offensive line that's been doing so well.
Dye on the play action, rolling, gonna keep it. Dye across the 5 for the pylon. Touchdown Lebanon! Touchdown, Nate Dye making it happen.
Almost gets sniped there, but comes back up for the celebration. That's priorities, young man.
A South College touchdown for the Gallatin transfer. He was strung out to the sideline and said, I'm going for that pylon. An extra point will tie the game. What a comeback by the Blue Devils at home. PAT's knocked in by Jimenez, and we are even at 14 apiece.
And you in Nolensville, you're kind of looking back at this game. You're going to look at Jimenez tying it up. But you look back at this game when you, coming out of the end of the second half, lose that opportunity. And we get a look at Dye and his scoring right here. He keeps his eyes down the field. That ball is a little bit too wide, but he tucks it in and dives for the pylon. Just cutting the angle right here. Oh yeah, get that to the sideline camera. That's the kind of football you look for in the fourth quarter. That's will, that's grit. We get our own Sammy Kincaid.
Documenting every moment.
You can follow her on Instagram for the 30 posts that'll be up there. I love you, Sammy.
Dye looked a little shaken up after the play, but something tells me they're going to have a hard time taking him out of this game. And this is a guy that, as we mentioned, arrived on campus for the spring semester in 2026, so has spent almost the entire calendar year acclimating within the program with his classmates, his teammates. But you talk about when the live bullets are flying, that's one way to ingratiate yourself as the quarterback, to lay it all out there. He's a player that is no doubt more of a passer, but Chuck Gentry told us this dude can scoot, and we saw that there to tie it up. 14 unanswered for Lebanon, and now it's Nolensville that is seeking a response. Shaw's Wilson Bank and Trust kickoff. Out of bounds, and that'll give Nolensville good field position.
Forgive me, Lucas, for cutting you off, but Nolensville kind of haven't come to life in this second half at all. They come out with great field position, a face mask. Now they get another gift.
They'll take it 25 yards from the previous spot. First and 10.
So they spotted at the 35.
Sorry, again. Take a look at our Farm Bureau Insurance scoring drive. 6 plays, 44 yards, capped off by that diving pylon rush by Dye. Lebanon defense had some time to rest up. Let's see if they can get a good 3 and out here.
They will move the spot to the left hash mark. Ryan Newell in this game for Nolensville. He is 5 of 12, 53 yards and a touchdown. But most of that came in the first half. Here he hands to Mexe, who just burrows under the pile. Falls forward, though, for a pickup of 4.
With Mexe having a good game in his own right, but having to climb uphill now in this second half with Lebanon scoring 2 unanswered.
Newell will throw under pressure, zings it over the middle, spun down. Maybe a gain of 1 on the play. That's Caleb Shin going with the quick game.
Looks like an incomplete pass. We'll take a look.
It is incomplete. It is incomplete and brings up 3rd down. 3rd and 6. Nolensville may have to put it in the air. They will, and it's caught. Brock Maurer, but he is stopped well short. Amari Manier, on the stop. Defensive Player of the Year in Region 4-6A last season, and it's a 3 and out for the Knights.
It's probably the most sided we've seen the game so far, now in favor of Lebanon. Maurer had some early success being up the middle, but he gets a little bit too wide, not able to make a move in space before contact finds him. Special teams out now.
Serpis on to punt. Manier and Gregory back deep. not had an opportunity at a return yet. This one rolls to the 23. So when we come back, Lebanon will look for their first lead of the night and of the season. 9:13 to play in week 1. Fridays at 9:30 or after college football in a couple of weeks. Don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. Biggest plays, the biggest hits. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has you covered. Highlight scores and plenty more from games across the Mid-State. Again, that's Fridays at 9:30 or after college football. Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. First and 10, Lebanon on 14 unanswered points, and after forcing a 3 and out, trying to march down the field and take their first lead, and with plays like that in the run game to keep them ahead of the sticks, this offense just remains on schedule.
Wilson making a case for our player of the game right now, just coming in after an injury to Clark and taking over. Also, the unspoken players of the game, the Lebanon offensive line, who have been steadily grinding down this Nolensville defense, trusting the process, as Coach Gentry has said.
79 yards on the ground for Wilson. That's a pickup of 6 to bring up 2nd and 4. Tyler Barth back in the game after being shaken up on a special teams play a few series ago. Wilson stopped after a pickup of 2 more, and it brings up 3rd and short. And you think about the margins that define games like these. Scott Stidham said it to Sammy going into halftime, the Nolensville head coach. The Knights had that interception and the run back to get into field goal range, a chance to tack on 3, make it a 17-point lead. But an illegal block that set it back and took away that opportunity, and then the multiple penalties that have given Nolensville excellent field position in the second half that they haven't capitalized on. And Lebanon, to their credit, has taken advantage of that. Wilson on the left side, wrapped up by Barth. Shy of the first down marker. So is this decision time for Chuck Gentry with under 8 minutes to play?
Have to imagine they go for the punt, because Nolensville has been grinded down to a point where they've lacked any production here in the second half, but this field position getting given away would be a spark that they need. There's still a conversation going on. They're going to use all the time on the clock, maybe a potential to get them to jump off sides, or at least see the look, call a timeout.
They send Nate Dye back out there. 10 seconds on the play clock. Now 5 and 4, so they're gonna have to snap this. Clock down to 1, and now 0. Flag flies.
Looks like they got the timeout off there on the sideline with Coach Gentry.
Timeout, Lebanon.
So the clock stops with exactly 7 minutes to play. 4th and 2 for the Lebanon Blue Devils, who, to their credit, have hung in, have withstood injuries, one after the other at running back. Miscues, mistakes that have given Nolensville certain advantages. But Lebanon responding here in the second half.
4th down situation. Nolensville had such a good fluidity, I guess, if that's the word I'm looking for, in the run game. As we take a look at speaking of fluid, we got 3 days of football coming up. Currently tied in the 4th quarter with Nolensville, Lebanon. Then we'll be going to Beach, Green Hill visiting, and Coach Crouch always got those boys coming up, doing well. And then to cap it off, our 3 triple headers, Oakland at CPA, public versus private, 2 powerhouse teams in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend is getting started with a banger of a matchup here at Lebanon High School. Eli Jimenez's punt will not get to Cade Mora, the returner, and Nolensville will take over on the 32. So what do you want to see more of from the Nolensville offense that's really stalled out in the second half?
They're trying to come off the football hard. They're trying to play physical, but they're allowing a lot of lineman pressure and a lot of color to show in that zone. You don't want to fly off the football without technique. They need to stay shoulder to shoulder on double teams when they get them, stay square on those individual blocks, and allow Lebanon to open up his own holes by pressing, because zone is a C to C gap play. Frontside C, backside C. He's been hitting that backside C while pushing it. They don't need to fly off and make it just a chaos of bodies. They need to stay disciplined.
Ryan Newell, the Bowling Green baseball commit. Hands to Lithmexe. He is met at the line of scrimmage and dropped by Elliott Greer. Loss of 1.
What's been really surprising is the diversity of players that have been making plays in the second half for Lebanon right here. Greer getting in from his DB position on the 3rd level.
They call it no gain on the play. Moving the spot up. 2nd and 10. Newell, quarterback draw, slips through some tackles and is finally dragged down across the 40 to make it a much more manageable 3rd down. Call it 3rd and 1.5 for these Nolensville Knights that have really committed to the run game tonight, and a big hole for them this season, though they brought back so much on the offensive line, quarterback and running back. Wide receiver Oliver Bender, 900-yard receiver last year, off to Washington State. And one of these receivers step up in a big moment here in the 4th quarter. They do go back to the ground with Lithmexe. And they move the sticks. Bart Durham injury law, 1st down for the senior, who's up to 68 yards on 15 carries.
BMC Metalworks 1st down. Get a look at Lithmexe, who has carried a majority of the workload.
1st and 10 from the 46. Early movement. And Jaden Stafford knows it.
Prior to the snap. Encroach.
5-yard penalty. Encroachment.
5 yards from the previous spot. Replay 1st down.
That's Stafford, a 3-year starter on this defensive line. Makes it 1st and 5 and puts it in Lebanon territory.
Barely crossing midfield. Nolensville now threatening for real the first time this half.
Newell will run, bounces left side, and he's off down the sideline. Speedy quarterback Ryan Newell, up to 70 yards after a 24-yard pickup.
Another keys to the game. Lean on the quarterback in the rush game. Newell starting to take the game into his own hands off the back of a lot of churning from Lithmexe, especially this series. You see Lithmexe getting into the action right there, leading the block off of the fake handoff.
Timeout, Lebanon. Their second call, timeout at the half.
So Bobby Rollins lets us know that Chuck Gentry took a timeout. The Blue Devils are down to 1. Nolensville has all 3. Certainly something to watch for the last 5:01 here at Danny Watkins Stadium. Nolensville controlled the first half, took a 14-0 lead into the break. And then it was Lebanon who came out, overcame some early penalty mistakes in the 3rd quarter, but able to march down the field and punch in a 1-yard touchdown from Deontay Wilson late third quarter. Quick 3 and out, got the ball back, and Nate Dye led the drive that was capped off by the quarterback keeper wheeling around, diving towards the pylon to tie it up at 14. And here we are as Nolensville is trying to take another lead in a battle for a 1-0 start to 2026.
Only 5 minutes left. Not a lot of series with two offenses that aren't too explosive over the air, aside from a Gavin Gregory catch.
With Mexay straight up the middle. With Mexay into the end zone. In a flash, Tristan Lith-Mexay doubles down on touchdowns, 25 yards for the senior. And Nolensville punches back a South College touchdown. And Lith-Mexay is up to 93 yards.
Life run back into the Nolensville sideline. You can see the fluid rushing right there, pressing the front side C-gap and cutting into the backside B-Ray. Finding that open space where the angles are just wrong for the second and third level of the Lebanon defense to cut him off.
Extra point is good. Nolensville back up 7 with under 5 minutes to play. Tristan Lith-Mexay galloping through the Lebanon defense. Under 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and the Nolensville Knights have regained the lead. 21-14, a 25-yard scamper from Tristan Lith-Mexay. And exactly what Scott Stidham wanted to see from his offense after stalling out in the third quarter. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan with you, Sammy Kincaid downstairs. The fun finish lined up in part one of our 3-game Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend. We will see you at Beach High School tomorrow as the Buccaneers host the Green Hill Hawks. But first, we've got 4:54 to go here. And Lebanon, after rallying to tie it up at 14, finds themselves down a score at home. Serpis has booted it out the back of the end zone on every occasion. The Wilson Bank and Trust kickoff. And here's Nate Dye again, the lefty transfer from Gallatin after a 5-play, 68-yard drive by Nolensville. Scoring summary presented by Farm Bureau Insurance.
Lebanon in an interesting position. 5 minutes left essentially in the game. Only one timeout. So imagine if they convert a first down or two, that runs off 2 to 3 minutes of the clock, but then you get stalled, kick it away. That could be the end of the game. So we could be looking at what is potentially the last series to tie it up, or with the go-ahead 2-pointer for Lebanon here at home.
Deontay Wilson has had to carry the load at running back tonight, and he has been excellent with a rash of injuries at that position for the Blue Devils. Dye screens it. Gregory on the run, bounces outside, and Gavin Gregory is near the first down marker. The Arkansas State commit. Let's go downstairs to Sammy.
Hey guys, I was just over on the Nolensville sideline listening to the defensive side talk, and they said that Lebanon switched up how they're lining up. Bruno, you could probably talk more on this, but there's a lot of frustration on that Nolensville sideline, recognizing formations, the lack of communication. Coach said, you got to talk to each other and call out what you see. Play our game, and he looked at the senior, he said, seniors, look at me. We're beating ourselves right now. You know, they got to be happy to go up by that one touchdown, though.
You know, it's interesting she mentions that. Nolensville actually did some good stuff against it, but that's what's causing the backfield pressure that was plaguing them in the early third quarter.
Wilson has enough for the first down. Tackled by Rock Maurer. That's 86 yards on the night for Deontay Wilson. Really in about 2.5 quarters of play. Gianna Zeta, the 1,300-yard rusher from last season, out tonight with a hamstring. His backup, Matthew Clark, got off to a nice start in this game, but then he left and was ruled out. And then they had to call on Wilson, who's a key player in the defense for Lebanon. They generally try to avoid giving a heavy workload on offense because of how critical he is. But tonight, he has been the next man up, as the play action pass is a little too far for Tyler Off.
3.5 minutes left to go. 2nd and 10. Let me just see if they stay over the air here, or they get back to the ground game. Lebanon finding a lot of success with Wilson in the gap schemes. First it was the pin pull series. Now they've been hammering on the counters with a backside guard and tackle or a backside tackle tight end.
And only one timeout for Chuck Gentry and the Blue Devils. So we'll see if they're forced to put it in the air a little bit. Maybe throw it to number 7, the Arkansas State commit, Gavin Gregory. Dye will drop deep here. And now takes off. Dye chopped down at the 30. And it's going to end up going down as a loss, putting Lebanon into a 3rd and long with the clock ticking close to 3 minutes.
Great job by the linebacker Tyler Garth to cut off the space and get just enough of Dye on the lower level to bring him down right there. Gets the clock moving too. All in favor of Nolensville right now. We struggled early in this second quarter, but now putting the pressure back on the home team.
3rd and 11. Lebanon has to get to the 42. Dye rolling, lobbing, and caught. Where will they spot it? That was Mark Xavier Anglin, who has really emerged in fall camp for this team. Oh man, this one's going to be close. They're going to go ahead and move the chains. A Bart Durham injury law first down. Anglin's first touch of the ball on offense, and it's a huge play.
Clock is running down. It looks like it's going to be a commitment to the air game now to cover all this space with only 2 minutes and 1 timeout left. They need a touchdown.
So Lebanon a little out of their comfort zone offensively. They will go to the ground with Wilson and wrapped up immediately.
The clock is going to keep running off of that rush. They need to start having a sense of urgency and lining up and play calling.
Frank Douglas on the stop. 6'3", 208-pound junior. No gain on the play. Blue Devils got to get moving here. Dye trying to step out of pressure, can't do it. The pocket collapsing on the junior quarterback, Jake Sentel. Has his first sack of the season. He had 6 a year ago. And a Nolensville man is down.
You see him with the leg rolled up right there. That's, excuse me,
Come out.
number 40, Andrew Harrison, senior defensive lineman. Getting a little bit rolled up, still down the field. Able to get up on his own power now.
And Chuck Gentry is forced to burn his 3rd and final timeout as he faces a 3rd and long with 93 seconds to play.
You just see the sack kind of rolling into the front side of the line right here. That left leg gets rolled up. A little bit of ankle, a little bit of knee, something on that left leg.
Jake Santel going to be a big player for Nolensville this season. D lineman of the year in Region 5-5A last season. Excellent wrestler for the Nolensville Knights and a key player trying to help close out this game. Nolensville led 14-0 at halftime. Lebanon charged back, tying it up early in the fourth quarter before the Knights marched right down the field, and Tristan Lithmexe scored his second touchdown of the evening. Now a stop would all but do it for Nolensville. Lebanon out of timeouts. Dye under pressure again, spins out, able to get it off to Anglin, and Anglin trying to make something happen between the hash marks, gets across the 45, and he is down. A flag is down in the secondary.
Flags everywhere. That judge, line judge.
Nolensville saying the ball came out and they have it. So a bit of chaos to sort through here.
Have fun, referees. We're up here in the booth with multiple angles, and I lost track of what happened on this play. Nolensville players convinced they have the football.
A desperation play by Dye to just get it to the nearest man, and Anglin made something of it at the very least to create a more manageable fourth down. But we'll see what the final verdict is here from Bobby Rollins and his crew. It looks like it's going to be Nolensville ball.
That's ball game. Minute 18, no timeouts.
We have a blindside block against the offense. That penalty decline. The result of the play is a fumble recovered by the defense. It's going to be 1st and 10.
So there you go. Great job by our officiating crew tonight. Let's take a look at it.
We didn't even get to see during the play where the ball comes out. I mean, it looks like it's something that works out chaotic, but well for Lebanon. And then right at the end, a mass of bodies come together. And you can just see right there, yep, ball punched out.
No doubt about it. Nolensville takes over, and the Knights can take a knee to start the season 1-0. Big plays to close it out for Frank Douglas and the Knights. Scott Stidham's group withstanding Lebanon's response. And what a ball game to open up the season here on Friday Night Rivals.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now about to watch the greatest formation in football history. Victory.
So Newell takes a knee. He will have to take another one, but Nolensville will be 1-0, and they will return home to host Summit next week. Lebanon will hit the road at Siegel in week 2. So under a minute to go, Nolensville to close this out. And let's take a look at the play of the game presented by the Tennessee Army National Guard right after this kneel down from Newell. And that will have the game go final. The play of the game is the touchdown that got the scoring started. Nolensville got a stop on defense. The offense went to work on what looked like a surefire incompletion, but Turner Boswell had other ideas on the tip drill.
Incompletion, more like interception. You just see the Lebanon defense colliding, and the worst place you want the football to go is up, either offense or defense. Set the tone for a game where Lebanon controlled a majority of the first half and the turnover margin.
So the final score from Danny Watkins Stadium, Nolensville 21, Lebanon 14. When we come back, we'll have the trophy presentation, the player of the game, and a look ahead to what's next for us on Friday Night Rivals. Stay with us. Can I get 3 on Nolensville's numbers? 1693-2. Thanks. I mean, not bad for week 1.
No, not bad.
Oh, DGG's lining up out wide. I am like, this kid is going to Tennessee to run track. No. Final score from Lebanon High School. The Nolensville Knights 21, the Lebanon Blue Devils 14. Nolensville starts the season 1-0. Scott Stidham is downstairs with Sammy Kincaid and the rest of his football team. Sammy?
Yes, with a very excited team down here with me, Coach. About getting a first win this season. Just talk about how good that feels.
Yeah, it feels really good because we played so poorly. I did a bad job coaching in the third quarter and let them back in it. A lot of teams give that up, but our kids showed a lot of grit and character and toughness. So to come back and score, offensive line did a great job right there at the end, and then got a big sack at the end to kind of put it away. It was special.
I was about to say, you told Jake to come up here. You wanted him up front. Why did you want him up front with you?
Jake Sintel's an unbelievable football player. And come here, Jake. And when he's rushing the quarterback, I think I could cover some of them because they don't have very long to throw. But just a special young man. Love all these guys, and we're proud, but we're not satisfied. We got more work to do.
Enjoy it with your team, Coach. Here you go.
The Nolensville Knights deserved winners tonight at Lebanon High School, and a lot of it due to the running back Tristan Lithmexe. He is our UA Local 572 Player of the Game. UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry. When this Nolensville offense reached top gear, Bruno, it was behind number 3. 16 rushes, 93 yards, 2 scores.
Much more efficient than you could ask for from a young man. With Metzley was running hard, he was running patient, he was running fluid, he was hitting all very different gaps. Front side C, backside A, backside C. It was one simple play call, one simple package, but a lot of different options.
Nolensville gets it done. The Knights are 1-0, but we are not done for the weekend. Hope you'll join us on MyTV 30 Sports again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Oh, look at that. Great to see Lila down there. 7 p.m. tomorrow, the second exciting night of our Friday Night Rivals kickoff weekend continues. The Green Hill Hawks flying into Hendersonville to take on the Beach Buccaneers right here on MyTV 30. All of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, the Tennessee Army National Guard, UA Local 572, and Sonic, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2026 Friday Night Rivals telecasts. Greenway Kia, our Durham Injury Law, South College, Wilson Bank and Trust, Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, Western Kentucky University, and Josh Houston and Associates. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support, Nolensville High School and our host, Lebanon High School. From our partner Bruno Reagan, Sammy Kincaid down on the field, and our entire fantastic crew, I'm Lucas Panzica saying good night. The final, Nolensville 21, Lebanon 14.